Right, so what we're going to do first, guys, is I'm going to get the onion nice and sliced, just get these out of the way. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off the onion. We're just going to get that sliced down that way. I only need half the onion for this. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take those bits off there because we don't want those. From that, we're just going to take this skin off. I find it can often stick a little bit, so sometimes you might need the help of a little knife just to help get those little bits off there. And we only need slices for this, so what we're going to do is get some nice slices along from there. So I'm going to take that right down to about there. It starts to get a little hard there, so you don't want any more than that really. So we're going to just take a couple of cloves of garlic off this here, get that off to one side. Now, the easiest way to peel your garlic is to simply smash it. So literally, nice smash like that. And it's nice and easy to actually get the skin off. What we're going to do from here is we're going to quickly rough chop it. Just to get it fine enough to be able to spread the flavour around, but also kind of big enough so you actually get a nice little chunk of garlic as you're going through your omelette. There we go. Get them off to one side. That's nice and ready to use now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the potato. We want to make sure you give it a good clean under the sink as well, because we're going to leave the skins on this time. You don't want to get any grit in your Spanish omelette. So we're just going to take the ends off there, get them off. We don't want those bits in. We want to make sure we get the nice bits of potato. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some nice thin slices of your potato off there. Now we're doing this because we don't want it to take too long to cook, but also it adds a nice texture in the Spanish omelette in the end. Right, so next thing we want to do after that is we want to get our parsley done. So this is not to go in now, but it's to get ready for later on, so actually we get a nice amount of colour through there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly, very roughly, take some of these leaves off here. It doesn't matter if you get a bit of stalk in it. It just kind of adds to the flavour, but we want those leaves to break down enough so actually it's nice when you eat it. You don't get a nice big stalky bit. So once you've got them all off, what you're going to do is you're going to quickly bunch them together. Yeah, there's no need to neatly fold or anything like that. We're going to do a really nice fine slice of this. So once you've got it nice and bunched, mind your fingers. You don't want to chop the ends of your fingers off. And we're just going to quickly, in a nice rolling motion, just take those parsley leaves down nicely. So a nice rolling thing. So I'm pushing, lifting, pulling back. And we're going to do that. This will just help get it a little bit finer, just so it works a bit nicer actually in the omelette. Doesn't matter if there's a couple of big leaves in there. It just adds a bit more texture to it for you. So I've got my pan on, nice and hot. I'm just going to grab a little bit of oil. Nice little drizzle in there. Next thing we're going to do, just going to wait for that oil just to start heating up. So to make sure when the oil is hot, it starts off with a bit more of a viscous liquid and then it ends up going to a bit more of a watery liquid. That's when you know it's about ready to kind of get your onion and garlic in. So we're just coming up to it now. So I'm just going to add a bit of my onion, a bit of my garlic. And what we want to do is we want to start hearing for that sizzle that's going to start coming through now. So we want to make sure we're not browning the onion and garlic. We're going to do this just by bringing it up to a nice amount of heat and then just tapering it off. That sizzle is what you're looking for there. Once these have come down a little bit, I'm going to get the potatoes in, get that heat up a little bit higher again, so we start breaking down the potato. Cool. Right, so these onions have just come down enough now. They're just starting to soften a little bit, which is quite nice. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my potatoes in. They'll literally go in like that. Now, depending on the size of your pan and depending on the size of the potato, you might not need it all. I think I might have two or three little bits that are just a bit too much for this pan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out. Best thing to do with those, put them in a little bit of water, put them in the fridge, use them next time you do your Spanish omelette. I want to make sure I get the heat through to these potatoes. It's about right. Now the juices are coming out of the onion and stuff now, which is what I want. So a little bit of steam going to come off that. Grab anything you can, get a lid over it, and make sure you turn the temperature down lower. So, whilst that's doing now, we just want to make sure the potatoes are steaming down, breaking down so they're nice and soft throughout your frittata. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some eggs cracked. So, I've got 4 eggs here. And what I'm going to do is I want to get them cracked into this bowl. The best way to do this, guys, is a little tap on a side somewhere. You want to make sure you got a nice little incision there. Thumbs either side and gently break it into a ball. Nice and simple. Once you got your eggs in, what you want to do, a little dribble of milk in there as well. This helps make it richer and also make sure your eggs go a bit further as well. So the next thing we're going to do, once you've got those ingredients in there, just going to grab a fork and get it nicely mixed. Next, get a nice bit of seasoning in this, bit of black pepper, a bit of salt, quite nice, adds a nice flavour to it. Make sure you get all your flavours through. So, a few twists of pepper. Some salt in there as well. And get that mixed in. Once you've got that sorted, we're waiting for those potatoes to break down. We want to make sure we get our oven on and get it preheated, ready for the Spanish omelette to go in and get that nice rise on it. So about 180 degrees on a fan assisted oven, and you're okay with that. So they've been in for about 10 minutes now. They should hopefully just be about cooked enough to be able to go through the omelette and still be nice, but add a bit of texture as well. As you can see, they've started to break down nicely. Got a little bit of colour in there, which is also still quite nice. We're about ready to get the parsley in now. So, in goes the parsley, adds a nice freshness to this. And then we're gonna get the eggs mixed through. So we can just keep that heat on low for now. Pull your pan off so it's not on the direct heat anymore. Ready to get mixed in with your eggs. Leave them for a couple of seconds just to cool down, otherwise you'll have scrambled egg mixed in. You don't really want that, even though we're cooking a nice Spanish omelette. And what we'll do, give it a chance just to cool down. Then what we're going to do, we're going to get that back onto the heat. Turn that up a little bit higher to make sure that we start getting that egg cooked so it creates a nice shell around it. So about 2 or 3 minutes in the pan. Once we get that nice shell, it's still going to be quite liquidy in the middle. That's fine. That's why we get it in the oven. Cooks to both sides, ends up really nice. So from here now, I can get that into my preheated oven. About 5 minutes and we're about there. So we're nicely cooked. What we'll do is we'll get it cut nicely in half and then we'll get it cut into a quarter as well. This is a nice amount. You could probably feed 4 people with this one, especially so with a nice salad, potato wedges, anything like that. So let's get it out onto a plate and there's your Spanish omelette.